Hey everyone, today we're going to compare two heavyweights in the ultralight sleeping pad category. They're both from Thermarest. We have the Thermarest Neoair Xlite versus the Thermarest Neoair Xtherm. Both are really nice sleeping pads and it can be hard to decide which one is right for you, but hopefully by the end of this video you'll be able to do just that. If you have any interest in either one of these pads, or maybe both of them, we've done full-length video reviews for both of these pads, and you can find the links to those reviews in the description below. If you're new to the channel, my name's Ben, and I'm part of the team here with the Adventure Junkies, where we help people like you choose the right gear to get outdoors. If you'd like to learn more, please visit our website at www.theadventurejunkies.com. All right, now on to what you're really here for. Let's compare the Thermarest Neoair Xlite to the Thermarest Neoair Xtherm. The Neoair Xlite is considered to be the gold standard in lightweight sleeping pads. It's said to have the best warmth to weight ratio available on the market today, and it comes with a stuff sack, an inflation sack, and a repair kit. The Neoair Xtherm is said to be one of the lightest and most comfortable four-season pads available on the market today. It comes with an inflation sack, a stuff sack, and a repair kit. All right, we're gonna dive into a bunch of specs on these, but before we do, let's go ahead and pull them out of their box. As you can see, they actually come in the exact same size box. These pads, I have slept on them many nights, and they're dirty, but they pack up nicely and fit back into their boxes. So we'll go ahead and inflate them. And when we do, I want to talk about the valve system. They both use Thermarest's wing lock valve system. And it's not my favorite valve system that we've ever used. It's also not my least favorite. It works. It's just a little clunky. And the wing lock valve system is common amongst Thermarest, especially their Neoair line. So right off the bat, this is the Xtherm, this is the Xlite. They're the same length, but the Xtherm is a little thicker. And let's compare that to a 32-ounce water bottle. So we have my water bottle, each pad, and then so pretty small, both of them. So let's go ahead and inflate the Xlite first. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the wing lock valve system for a second. What you need to remember with the wing lock valve system is that counterclockwise is always deflate. And we'll go through dumping air and all that. But first, let's go ahead and attach our inflation sack to the wing lock valve. So another complaint that I have with this valve system, and this I'll show you, it's on both pads, is it's hard to get, I'm getting better at it, but it's hard to get the pump sack seated on the valve. Okay, so right now both valves are open, but we want to be able to blow air in without losing air as we're inflating it. So what we're going to do is actually rotate just the blue tabs, just the wings on the wing lock valve system, clockwise. We're going to leave the top open, so it'll act as a one-way valve, so I can put air in without losing it. Let's go ahead and blow it up. So if you haven't used a pump sack before, or an inflation sack, you basically just blow air from 6 to 12 inches away. It will, there we go. Just gonna pump air in until it's full. Usually takes 6 or 7 pumps with this one. You don't have to use the inflation sack. You could inflate this using your lungs, but all right, now we're pretty much full there. But the inflation sack does a pretty good job. All right, so now you want to rotate this dark blue part of the valve clockwise. That will lock it closed. And we have an inflated Neoair Xlite. Let's go ahead and inflate our Xtherm. So they both come with the exact same inflation sack, the exact same style stuff sacks, and they have the same valve system. So you can already start to see that these are pretty similar pads. but they do serve different purposes. All right, so let's go ahead and get this inflation sac seated on, there we go. Then you're gonna make sure your wings are turned clockwise so you can inflate the pad without losing air. Same process as before. All right, call that inflated. Man, not my favorite valve system. All right, now we have them both inflated. Go ahead and close that top part of the valve by turning it clockwise, excuse me. So now that we have these inflated, let's talk specs. We're gonna start with price because there's no way around it. These are expensive pads. They're both expensive. You're definitely getting a quality product for what you're paying, but they're definitely in the premium price category. These are premium sleeping pads. So the Xlite retails for $199.95. And the Xtherm is actually going to be $30 more than that at $229.95. So definitely premium price for premium pads. So what are you getting for that money? You're getting weight savings, for one. Both pads are super light. The Xlite is impossibly light at 12 ounces or 340 grams. The Xtherm, still very light, but a little heavier, 3 ounces heavier at 15 ounces or 430 grams. Now packability, you saw them all packed up before I inflated them. Both very packable pads. The Xtherm a little bigger, but it is a 4-season pad and it's still really small for 4-season pads. So I'd say that these are two of the more packable sleeping pads available on the market today. So both of these pads come in a variety of sizing options. This is the regular size of both pads. And as you can tell, or maybe you can't, they're the exact same size. The regular size of both of these pads is 72 inches or 183 centimeters long and 51 centimeters or 20 inches wide. And they're the mummy shape, which just means wider at the shoulders, tapers off down near the feet. All right, let's move on to R value. Everyone likes to talk about R value. R value, if you're not familiar, is basically a standard unit of measurement that sleeping pad manufacturers can use to indicate how warm or well insulating their sleeping pads are. The higher the number, the warmer the pad. Usually for 4-season camping, you're going to want a sleeping pad with an R value of 5+. So the Neoair Xlite has an R value of 4.2. Thermarest does consider this a 4-season or all-season pad. I'm not so sure. Maybe if you're a warm weather sleeper or if you have a foam pad under this, you can definitely stretch this into the shoulder seasons, colder temperatures, especially if you're higher altitudes in the mountains. But I wouldn't necessarily consider it a proper 4-season pad. The Xtherm, however, has an R value of 6.9. This is what we would consider a proper 4-season pad. With an R value of 6.9, you can expect a warm night's sleep, and that's pretty much the experience we had in the field. Surprisingly warm, actually. All right, so materials and quality. Not a lot of difference between these two pads. I mean, even looking at them, they look the same. They're just a different color. The Xlite is made of a 30 denier nylon, and the Xtherm is also made of a 30 denier nylon, with the exception of the bottom, which is a 70 denier nylon. Just a little burlier bottom on the Xtherm. They're both noisy, they're both crinkly, you can hear it, there's no way around it. Not a big difference, they both are noisy pads. I'd say maybe the Xtherm is a little slightly more grippy, but not by much. So that noise is from the, it's like a metallized film in there that is basically, it's the Thermarest's triangular core matrix. That's what they use to keep you warm. Reflects cold air down, reflects your warm body heat back up. It's quite effective, actually, but it is definitely noisy. Quality, they're both high quality pads. Thermarest, they're backed by Thermarest lifetime warranties, so you really don't have to worry about any kind of defects or delamination, and they both have the exact same lifetime warranty. If you're enjoying this video, please like and share so more people like you can find it. All right, so let's talk about comfort. Both pads are 2.5 inches or 6.4 centimeters thick, and they're constructed of horizontal baffling. I didn't have any experience bottoming out on my shoulder or my hip. Really, as long as you stay in the center of the pad, they're both really comfortable. The issue I had with both of these pads, and it could be because of that horizontal baffling, is that when you get to the edge, it seems to lose stability. It does push air back to one side of the sleeping pad. So, and I roll around a lot in my sleep, and that was kind of a bummer. When I would roll around, I'd get too close to the edge, I would lose stability, and then I roll around even more. So you just want to make sure to stay in the center. Maybe if you roll around a lot, you might want a wider pad. But that's just the experience that I had. All right, we already touched on R value, but let's just circle back and talk about warmth for a second. Both of these pads are warm. And you know, when you feel them, you wouldn't think that they would be that warm, but that's a testament to that triangular core matrix that Thermarest uses on the inside of these pads. They're both really warm. Again, R value of 4.2 on the Xlite and an R value of 6.9 on the Xtherm. Definitely 3-season pad, deep 3-season pad probably. This could be a 4-season pad. For warm sleepers, and then this is proper 4-season pad, one of the warmest sleeping pads I have ever slept on for sure, and for how lightweight it is, I mean, really hard to argue with that. All right, so ease of inflation and deflation. As you saw in the demo, inflation is easy enough. My only complaint is the valve system. It's a little hard to dial in. So once you fill the pad, if you want to let a little air out, it's not the easiest. It's hard to get the inflation sac seated on the valve to inflate. And when you deflate both of these pads, you're going to have to do a pre-roll, and I'll demo that when I deflate these. To let the air out, then you can go ahead and fold it and re-roll it. And that's just because of the triangular core matrix inside these pads. It just takes a second to dump air. Overall, not a huge issue. I've used much worse systems. Just something to be aware of when you're paying that much for a pad. That is what I consider one of the downsides of both of these pads. All right, let's go ahead and pack these up and take a look at the ease of deflation. Okay, start with the Xtherm here. Again, same valves. So what you want to do is you want to rotate counterclockwise and then counterclockwise. So it's dumping air fairly quickly. I'm going to go ahead and pre-roll it. All right, pre-roll, and then I just unroll it and then fold it and re-roll it. All right. Okay, just gonna go ahead and roll it up. I usually just take the inflation sac. I don't really fold it or anything. I just kind of put it in there and roll it up in the pad, and that way I never have to worry about them going MIA. All right. And we've got it. Easily back into its stuff sack. Very important. Boom. Now let's do the Xlite. Process is going to be the exact same. Just open them up. Dump air. I think for this process, the Xlite is actually a little quicker. Not much of a difference, but probably just because of that lower R value, it's a little easier. Hold it. Same deal here. Roll the stuff, or the pump sack, the inflation sack And I do find the Xlite to be a little trickier to get back in its stuff sack, but could also be user error this time around. There you have it. All packed up. Thermarest Neoair Xtherm versus the Xlite. Nice and small. Alright, so just to kind of wrap things up here with the Thermarest Neoair Xlite versus the Thermarest Neoair Xtherm. These are two high quality, really well made sleeping pads. Definitely two of the nicest sleeping pads that I've tried. I love that they're backed by a lifetime warranty, and I just feel like if I'm going to pay that much money, I am getting a quality product with both of these. So speaking of paying that much money, in terms of price, the Neoair Xlite retails for $199.95, while the Xtherm is $30 more at $229.95. Definitely in the premium price category. As you might expect, the Xlite wins the weight category versus the Xtherm, but not by much. The Xlite is super light, 12 ounces or 340 grams, and the Xtherm weighs just 3 ounces more at 15 ounces or 430 grams. When it comes to warmth, again, both warm pads, definitely deep 3-season here, possibly 4-season, you know, debatable, with an R value of 4.1, and the Xtherm just incredibly warm, R value of 6.9, proper 4-season pad, great for cold weather, and for being that light and that warm, it's just a really nice pad. Ease of inflation and deflation, the process is going to be the exact same on both of these pads with the wing lock valve system. Downsides, it's hard to get the inflation sac seated on the valve, and the fine tuning of the valve, if you overfill the pad, is not the easiest. Overall, a middle of the road experience, I'd say. They do dump air fairly quickly, they're easy to roll up. It's just the valve is a little finicky, that's all. So who is each pad for? These pads are both going to be for fast and light adventurers, no doubt. The difference here is that, like, do you need a 4-season pad, or do you want a 3-season pad that saves you a few ounces and a few bucks? If you partake in winter camping, or you would like to, if you're already going to spend $200 and you don't mind having the extra 3 ounces, maybe you spend $230 and get the R value of 6.9 versus the R value of 4.1. I will say that the Xtherm is going to be overkill for most camping experiences. It is super warm. Not that that's a downside for anybody. Cold sleepers, this would be really good for. I'm thinking both of these pads are going to be for people who are spending a lot of time outdoors. At that price point, you definitely want to get your use out of your gear. Mountaineers, climbers, thru hikers, just anyone who wants a comfortable sleeping pad and super lightweight, backed by a great warranty. Just two really good pads. That's going to wrap it up for our video review, the Neoair Xlite versus the Neoair Xtherm from Thermarest. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to like and share so more people like you can find it, and we'll see you out there. Happy hiking. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you don't know what gear to bring hiking, or maybe you've just wasted money on the wrong gear in the past, then you definitely need to get a copy of this book. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Hiking Gear, and we've created it with the total beginner in mind. It'll help you learn what gear you need versus what gear is just nice to have versus what gear you don't need. It covers everything you need to know, including how to choose each item and specific product recommendations based on your budget, gender, hiking destination, and more. You can pick it up on Amazon, and it's available in paperback and for the Kindle. Check out the link in the description below. Happy hiking.